Welcome to the Better Man Podcast with Ivan and Sumed. This podcast is all about how to be an optimal, conscious male in today's society. Join Ivan and Sumed as they go deep into the rabbit hole of personal growth, mindset, social dynamics, and spirituality. Are you ready to be a better man?
Welcome back to the Better Man Podcast.
With Ivan and Sumed. In this podcast.
Yeah, we got it at the same time. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
We're gonna be talking about like how you're gonna watch us talk and like share ideas and brainstorm, right? Our goals in a way where it's like we've refined the details to where it makes sense. And like this is so important because when you know all the steps you need to take, just taking them is so much easier. You know what I mean? Imagine it, bro, Sumed, can you fucking imagine this if you were to go on a trip, right, to America, right?
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, you gotta like first like you walk to a certain city, and then you're like, okay, now I gotta figure out from here. And then you take a flight, and then you're like, okay, now I gotta figure out from here. And then you take another fucking flight. Now I'm on a boat. Somehow you're on a fucking boat now. You know, like that's the fucking worst.
Yeah, having some kind of plan. I used to be very hesitant towards planning in the future, but now I see it as like really, really foundational. As something that's, because brainstorming is like something that I did very naturally. However, yeah, writing things down, like being able to kind of future project in a sense of the different options, like a menu of different options gives you much more clarity for sure.
Clarity. I think that's the most important thing here. Like, where are you going?
Yeah.
And do you need a plan to succeed? No, you don't. But do you succeed faster if you have a plan? Yes. Yes.
Yeah, once like X marks the spot, right, on the map, then okay, that's where to get to. If you don't know where to get to, then it's like, you're going to go different places, not X.
It's very interesting because sometimes you go from like from the bottom up, right? Like you start your goal from the bottom up, right? And then other times it's more like you start your goal from the top down.
Yeah.
Right. I know you know what that means. I feel like you can explain that better.
I was gonna ask you actually for an example of that, of what you mean by that.
Oh, so like it's sort of like you said, you have to know the result that you want to achieve first. What's the result? Right? And a specific result, that is. And then we spoke about clarity. You need to have a specific result in mind so that it's so much more like, it's not like, oh, in that direction, right? I'm just going to move in that direction, right? It's more like, I'm going to go at that target. So that's like working from like the top, the top down, and you'd be like, okay, so here's my target. What's something that these people here are doing, right, that I'm not doing, all right? Let's just say, I don't know, let's just make up something. Let's just say fitness, right? You're like, okay, my goal is to get abs, right? If you work out that goal from the bottom up, first you go, you come up with your workouts first. Then you come up with your food. Yeah, I waited for you.
Yeah, I was actually connected to the other Wi-Fi, so I couldn't really. Yeah, now it's good.
So I was saying like you first you decide I'm gonna do this, right?
Yeah.
and then you're like, okay, I'll like work out. I'll go to the gym. I don't know, every day after work, right? And then you're like, oh, okay, you know what? These workouts are good. Now I'm studying like the people who do it, right? What are the
Yeah.
moves, right? First, you just went to the gym and you're like, I mean, whatever it is, I'm gonna start doing it, right? And
Yeah.
then as you progress, you're like studying like the positions,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, you get more that's the thing is you discover more clarity along the path. It just you got to get started first, but then you're like slowly you're zooming in more. Like for instance, like something that I can say for fitness that I'm not really doing, but it might be beneficial is like tracking certain macros throughout the day. That's what a lot of people do. However, I'm just kind of going by estimate right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so it might be an option for now because I'm kind of in an intermediate phase. However, if I were to be more serious with my fitness, I would be tracking macros.
Mm-hmm. Um, I would say I personally, I don't like tracking records. I don't like tracking micros.
Yeah.
In a way, I mean, it is obviously helpful, right? But like you could, instead of doing like I did 100 calories or whatever, guessing how many calories it is, just like write down what it is that you ate, right? So that
Yeah.
way you just know. You're like, what did I eat today? Uh, I ate 3 cookies and I had a big thing of juice, right? And then this like you could just compare it like to your own reference, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't even do that. So it would be good to have that checklist for what I'm consuming. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And
So
the crazy thing about that actually is that
yeah.
you'd be like, oh, why am I feeling like this today? Right? Or
Mm,
why do I have why did I have that I don't know, like an itch or a fucking like reaction? And you have like you can track record your food.
right. Yeah, and yeah, that's a good idea to determine how you're feeling based on the food that you're intaking. Damn. That's a really good idea, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's like you become the detective of your own body. Yeah. You become Sherlock Bones. That was really lame, that joke. Hold on.
Radical honesty, bro. Radical honesty. Well,
And I wanted to discuss like our books because I think that it's important for us to get these, to be bestsellers. Like that's what I feel like that's what we both want, right? So let's kind of go based on that model of like what other writers are doing. This is the book, guys. If you haven't seen it yet, this is the cover. It's
it's
like
badass. It's a badass fucking cover.
yeah. I mean, honestly, just from the cover alone, I hope a lot of people might read it. And yeah, I was thinking about different like strategies or different ways that, the book can be seen or at least exposed to different eyes, different pairs of audience. And one of the things I'm doing is like getting reviews from different influencers and different people, like just reaching out to people and like asking them to write a review. Sometimes you got to pay a little bit here and there, but it's
Oh, they read
mainly
it?
just like,
You give them a copy?
yeah, yeah. Basically, you pay for their copy and their like, whatever their charge is, and they just give you like their own review and they
Mm,
post it on their page and stuff. So I've done a few, like I've reached out to a few of them for that, and then the publishing company that I worked with that published this book also has certain people that they're reaching out to. So yeah, that's one of the ways that I'm going about it.
mm-hmm.
Some other ways is like I'm tracking my social media so that it's not like every post is about the book, but it's sort of like every third post or every fourth post is about the book in some way or
Mm-hmm.
indirectly related to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And that's just what you're doing so far.
so far, yeah.
Mm. All right, watch this, guys. Watch. We're about a Kaizen. We're about a Kaizen. Right. It's a Japanese word that means
change good.
It means be the best.
Good change.
Good change?
It actually means, huh?
Good change?
Yeah, it means good change, or yeah, change good.
I thought it meant like always improving.
Yeah, continuous improvement, basically, like, but the translation of the words is like good and change. Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So this is something that I wrote in my book. All you have to do is ask yourself complex questions, right? And if you think that you're open enough to receive the question, you'll have more answers, right? So watch.
Yeah.
So soon, what is the next level that an OG author would take from that position? Like if you think I'm an OG author for 60 years,
Yeah.
let's just say 30-year-old. Oh wait, you're let's just say 35-year-old. Give yourself like almost 10 years. It's you in the future, and that person, that 35-year-old you is gonna tell you what's the next step that you're gonna need to take right now in order to progress. What would they be saying?
That's a good question. Let me feel into that a bit.
Definitely. Okay. It's a big question.
Yeah. One of the things he's telling me is to get on other people's podcasts and speak about the book, which sounds like a really good idea. And also, another thing is like when I have a lot more copies of the book, to just put it in, like just drop it into random locations where my target market hangs out. It's like keep it there. Someone sees it. It's like a book in the park somewhere in like near a yoga studio or something like that, you know?
Yes, dog. Now we're thinking fucking guerrilla marketing.
Yeah. And
outside of theater, hey, bro. Outside of theater, it's about
outside
theater.
of theater, yeah, true.
I do, bro. Why don't you think about like giving it to a few actors?
Yeah.
They will relate the fuck out of it to it, because I mean you pulled from that area.
Yeah, that's really good. Actors, celebrities,
actors. TikTok actors,
theater actors as well. Yeah,
like that's what I meant. Like, yeah, the theater and shit.
Like plays, like Broadway and shit.
Broadway,
Yeah.
What about bookstores? You think about getting in bookstores?
Yeah, that's a really good idea, actually. Because, like, I heard this one story, right? It's a very ninja tactic. So, basically, you go into a bookstore. Let's say you go into Barnes & Nobles, right? As an example. And then you go, hey,
I know what you're doing, bro. I already get it.
You already know.
It's so mischievous energy coming from you.
Yeah, this is my mystic at work. Okay, so basically you walk into Barnes and Nobles and you're like, hey, I'm a recently published author. You know, I have this book out and I'm doing speeches at certain bookstores, like, you know, name a few other bookstores, this. If you're open to it and having a discussion about it, or if you're open to having me speak, here's my card. And, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then if they accept, okay, cool. If they don't accept, you go to the other bookstores that you mentioned in that list and you do the same thing. Oh, I bought Barnes and Nobles. Because no one really checks the books like with the other bookstores that are in the valley or whatever.
Hey,
You know?
did this guy so mad just come into your building?
Just come at your yeah. Exactly.
He's right here.
So,
With the golden hair. Yeah, he's right here.
yeah, they keep like a track of you.
That's really good, bro. That's really, really good.
Yeah, because it has that social proof that you're, presenting all these places, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, yeah, it's great as a tag. I actually heard this from someone. I forgot where I got it from. But yeah, probably from a podcast or something.
I think you mentioned something very important, which is something I'm working on. More credibility.
Yeah.
Right? Like Sadhguru, he fucking writes a book. He's got massive fucking influence, let's say. So he has more credibility, right? So it's like how can I make myself more like official, right? Because I didn't go to like university for this. I didn't like
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't fucking I don't know, I just live it. And that's how I know shit. And in a way that's a bit of a turnoff for many people who have deep pockets. So I've actually found this website, all right, that will you write an article and they can get it published on websites. So different websites, a bunch of different websites, like 20 different websites.
Wow.
And they're like from major news channels, right?
Yeah.
So
it's like a PR type of thing. It's basically like you post it there and then they send it out. They distribute it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like let's just say what is like a major news channel in India?
Times of India is one of them that I can think of.
Times of India. So you would say that Times of India has there's Times of India from this city, Times of India of this city. There's a Delhi, there's a Kolkata, there's a different there's a different news anchor for that city. Is that the case there?
I'm not very sure, man. I don't even really read the news much, but I think that there are different there are different news brands, but it's not related. The Times of India is it's like the Economist or something, it's like kind of it's a brand by itself. And so they just post everything about India. But each state in India, basically they have, different tribunes or like the daily something like that as the main newspaper. Yeah. The daily something.
Yeah, so basically that's what they'll do. They put it on on those websites, right? And you get to say, oh, I was on Times of India, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, Times of India, I trust them. They're trustworthy. I should trust you.
I actually did that once a while back, and I got it into Daily Herald, which is like some in London or something. But yeah, it's an online, online blog
Publication
of the publication. But yeah, that's really useful because then you can put it on your website, right? You know how people have right below their thing, it's like all featured in this. Yeah.
And you can put it on your book cover when people grab it on a bookstore, on a bookshelf, and I'll grab it and say, oh, from the author on Fox News, CNN, CNBC, ABC. It's like, oh, motherfucker, for real. Damn, he's official, right?
Yeah.
One thing I also wrote down here. So watch. Let's watch. That is the goal. That's the top, right? And then I went okay, so how can I do this? And I was like, well, first, so here it is. So it says getting book onto stores. I'm gonna say it in reverse. I have it written down here. I'm gonna say it in reverse. So my goal is getting on bookstores. I want to be in bookstores. I want to walk into Barnes and Noble. Yo, that's my book, right? I also want to walk into local stores, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be on bookstores. What I gotta do? First, I gotta sell, and I gotta make more money. I have to sell more books, right? Because if you want to be on a bookshelf, they're not gonna buy your book if it's not selling, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you see how it's interesting how the goal here was not to make money, to sell more. The goal was to be in bookstores, and because I want to be in bookstores, I need to sell more, right? Versus most people's thinking is they're stuck on the money, so they're like, oh, want to make more money, right? Anyway, so I'm like, what I gotta do? I gotta run ads, right? If I want to sell to more people.
Yeah.
But first, before I run ads, I think I'm gonna change the cover of the book, right? And I'm gonna change it to something I feel is like more intriguing for a wider audience, right? Versus like my face, right? Because I mean, I'm handsome and shit, but like, but I feel like sometimes when you got a book into somebody's face, I don't know. I think there's better ways. So more creative ways, right? So I'm gonna change it to like a jaguar, right? But he's like a spiritual homie, right? And he's got like a, right? And then the title says command respect, right? And then you see the animal, and that's an animal that you already know that's like, oh, you see a jaguar, commands respect. That's what I mean. It's more appropriate because people might not always know. And they see it, they're like, oh, what does this guy know, right? Anyway, change cover of
Yeah,
book.
you're saying it's like becoming something symbolic now. So, yeah, symbols are the language of the subconscious mind, I always say. So, it's like getting people to just download that. Oh, the Jaguar thing. Yeah, I saw that. If you have a billboard or something, right? And you have something very intriguing or mysterious, you don't say what exactly it is. I know Arash did this a while back. He just used to have billboards with his pictures and his girls. And he didn't even write IMC, just his picture, basically. And people saw that and like, oh yeah, he's the guy from the billboard. So it's actually a really good marketing tactic because you're like, you become that person on a billboard. And it's like, I know it's expensive, but it's an investment to, get on a billboard because a lot of people will be seeing you as they're seeing you every day. It's like subconscious hit.
Facts.
So yeah.
Also, I was saying here that I have to change my book cover, right? Before I change my book cover, because I want it to be on this. Well, I want the back to say as seen on, different news places. I need to write the article, right? It's gonna cost me about like $200, I think, $300 for the whole like the publication for the assistant to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So what I want to do first, before I can write that article, is I want to become an LLC, right? A limited liability company, right? That's similar to like a corporation, but there's just like a different version of it, right? It's like for smaller,
Yeah.
Because if I do that, I'm registered as a business now. I want to like fully register myself as a business, right? And I can put that in on my taxes now, right? Because I'm gonna be spending like all this other stuff. I'm gonna be spending money, right, from my own to change the cover. I need to pay artists to do the drawings and stuff. Redo the cover, the publicist. So this is gonna cost money. I want to save on running ads. I'm gonna be running a bunch of ads, right? I'm gonna go full on with this thing. So I'm like, I might as well get a tax break from it, right? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna register myself as that, and then before that, I want to also clarify my audience a lot as well. So that's basically where it ends, right? That's basically where it ends. But it started from the top down.
Mm. Yeah, I was thinking of like reaching out to maybe a few people like, Jack Canfield or these kinds of people who are like, known in that niche, and then asking them for reviews. Because if it's like, how they have like a review on some of the book covers and like the back cover.
Mm-hmm.
So if it says like, if Oprah says something dope about your book, for instance, it's going to be like big deal. So
It's gonna sell. Fact.
yeah. So like so endorsements is actually a great way for people to, get that immediate social proof. So if you get a celebrity endorsement, you're set, like pretty much. So
Somehow we can do that. It's possible. It's possible. Think big.
it
Think
is. I
big.
mean,
Think
you
big.
just gotta put yourself out there. Honestly, like me getting, Ralph Smart, Elliot Hulse, all these people on my podcast, So like, how did I do that? I just like basically pushed myself, and I like went through the loopholes to do it, Whereas a lot of people wouldn't like push themselves or like, think it's possible for them to do it. But it's like I went through the different channels, like to get Elliot Hulse, I got his wife. I was speaking about, he's kind of like his manager in a sense, like setting up the appointments. So went through that channel, and, started to email back and forth, different time zones, possibilities, and things like that. And in 2017, in the new year, I just got the interview done. So it's like, you just got to reach out and try it. Don't think it's not possible or something, right? And then there's a lot of times people will say they're going to do it and then they don't. That's a possibility too. But it's still good because
Win
you're like,
streak. Win streak.
yeah, winning streak. Yeah. I was actually going to get Charlie. He said he would be on the podcast. So I was like, damn. But he never responded. I think he's super busy. That's the thing. These people, they're like constantly being bombarded with stuff. So he was like, I was like, yo, like, it'd be cool for you to get on the podcast, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I was like, may the flow be with you. And he wrote, yeah, let the flow be with you too, or something like that. He said back. I don't remember what he said. Here, let me go back to it actually. Charlie Rocket.
By the way, audience members that don't know these people like Elliot Hulse, Aaron Dottie, Charlie Rocket. These are big people, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Those are our friends. Yeah, right. They're not my friends.
I said something like, brother, you've inspired me so much. I was wondering if you'd want to be on my podcast. I have the words winning streak on my door, man. You've had a massive impact, blah, 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 connected. I had Dr. Steve G. Jones, Ralph Smart, and some other big names on it. You'd be doing me a big favor, and I just heard you on Impulsive for the second time. I'm connected to a lot of spiritual and flow state peak performance communities who resonate with your message. So yeah, if you reach out to an influencer, you want to say what is in it for them, right? What is their benefit of being on your thing, on your platform, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have a base of people that you're connected with, or a tribe or a community, you can always say like, I'll introduce you to other people because that's more connections for them. Mm-hmm. Or, I'll be running ads on it in the future, so you'll get much more promotion or whatever. You have to know like what your value is in a sense when you put it out there. And then I said, may the flow be with you. And then he said, you guys can see here, right? It's kind of
man, we can't see. If you got to get it much, much closer. You got to bring the phone all the way closer.
Oh, yeah. There you go. He said, it's
time.
Bro, let the flow be with you. Yeah.
And he said something after that.
Then he just said, hey, I need your help for Starbucks attention, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. I did that. I helped him out for that Starbucks attention.
Yeah, same. But yeah, he hasn't gotten back. But yeah, I completely get it. Like, he's constantly doing shit, Dreamer Tour, this, that.
So, bro, I mean, like, how many people forget the message? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You ain't not had time for that shit, man. You ain't not had time for that.
Yeah, it's funny though because he said it's time, like right now. Let's go. But yeah, like for instance, the same thing happened with Kai. What was his name?
Kylo Ren.
Visuddha Das. He changed his name to Visuddha Das, but
Visuddha Das.
He was a famous YouTuber. I think it's Kai Fresco. Do you know Kai Fresco?
No.
Okay. Well, he changed his name to Visuddha Das. He was a big spiritual influencer. He had like really long hair. He used to talk about, spirituality, Buddhism, all these different topics and stuff. And yeah, I reached out to him, and then basically he just couldn't find the time. Like he that was his example of, he's like, I couldn't do it. I just tried many times. And he said he was going to do it also. He was like, yeah, let's set it up on this day. And then I wouldn't hear from him. I'd be like, yo, Visuddha, or yo, Kai, like, where are you? And he'd be like, not responding. And then like a week later, he's like, hey, sorry, man, I can't do this, blah, 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 long message. So a lot of times you get those, but that's okay, because, the ones you do get, it's like a big deal, so keep trying, keep pushing yourself to do that, because endorsements are really great. And so let's do a bit of a recap for people. So we mentioned author reviews, we mentioned, actor reviews in my case, keeping it in bookstores or near bookstores, and walking into bookstores even and talking about it. Keeping it outside of different places where your target market hangs out, running ads. And
what I thought was cool, what you said about I'm bad. I feel like I interrupted you. Maybe you could just
the last one I was about to say is the one you mentioned, which is as seen on blah 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 so and so.
Yeah. Whenever you go to a bookstore, right, and say, I have an audience, all right? They would like, if I come here to this bookstore and make an event, my audience will come, and they'll come to your bookstore, and it'll bring traffic into your bookstore, free traffic, right? Now, why did I mention that?
It's the value proposition, right? It's like, what are you bringing?
And as the Ethereum Society, this is their like major quote. They said, oh fuck, I forgot the first word. It's a word that signifies like giving to other people, but like working in a way. It means like working.
Working.
Yeah, it means like working.
Working, but also giving to others?
Yeah, but it means like, I don't know. I want to say prosperity, but that's not the word. I'm about to find it. Service, prosperity.
Service, yeah.
Okay. Service is the jewel in the rock of attainment.
I like that. And also the word samurai means to serve.
Oh, nice. Service. So what does that mean? It means if you want attainment, what do you want? What do you want? Right? You have to give first, right?
Yeah.
If you want to receive, you must give first, right?
Yeah. My paradigm was shifted when I read that book. It was The Go-Giver. So usually the term is the go-getter, right? It's like someone who is ambitious, who goes out of his way to try all these things. But, that book taught me a lot about a different kind of model where this guy was going to this millionaire's house and like basically downloading his mindset, his information from him by just having conversations with this guy. And he was very giving. He had a kind heart. He had a very, very big heart, you could say. And his big heart equaled big wallet as well. It was like, this guy was really, different to the norm and the way regular people thought about ideas or different things. But so if you think that, you know, your concept for your book, let's say, it's going to be a big service, it's going to help a lot of people, don't let other thoughts enter in that are going to contradict that thought, basically. Right? So if you think, oh, I'm going to be the bestseller, don't think, oh, it's not going to work well at first and then the market is going to collapse and then blah, blah, blah. Don't think all of those thoughts if you have a really big goal, because those thoughts, doubt is equals death. I learned that from watching Iron Fist on Netflix. Awesome show, by the way. Highly recommend it. But yeah, doubt is death. Yeah, for real. But yeah, service.
How do you get rid of fear? Action.
Yeah.
In fear, you're always in doubt. You fear because it's not secure. It's insecure. So you're having doubts. You're having doubts.
Yeah, and Arash said this the other day in Lion's Den. He said, insecurity is anti-seduction. And I was like, damn. That's it. That's all you gotta know. Insecurity is anti-seduction, bro. So security is seduction. Yeah.
Fact. I watched a Marlon Brando film after that. I purchased it for like $3. I watched Last Tango in Paris because I've seen it before. And
yeah, he does all these character studies, like kind of. I like that because I go into it and really, you get to discover what the character represents, and it's cool. I tell that people in my book actually as well. The first chapter is all about character.
The archetype.
Yeah.
Today, Pam was telling me about this girl she was talking to, who she was helping with about her relationships and shit, and how her parents, like, they like divorced like multiple times, and it was always toxic, and she always had toxic boyfriends, right? But and right now this girl is saying, I don't want to be in another toxic relationship, right? And she was also saying, like, separately, she was also saying that she doesn't want to get with a nice guy because she says a nice guy wouldn't be able to handle her because she's too crazy and stuff, right? And
yeah,
I told her, look, this is what you're gonna have to tell this girl, right? She is believing two separate ideas that are opposite of each other, and it's pulling her, right? And it's messing up her life. So
yeah, it's internal conflict.
She needs to write down what a toxic guy is and what are the positives and negatives of that toxic guy, aka her ex-boyfriends. What are the things that she liked? What are the things she didn't like? And then define a nice guy and what are the positive things and what are the negative things of nice guy, right? And circle on the pages which one, what you want, right? That's who she should visualize and think of, right? And I told her, she told her that, and the girl was like, oh my gosh, oh man, fucking breakthrough. Like, I was so scared that I would just I wouldn't have clarity, right? She said I was so scared that I would rather not have clarity and just kind of let be guided, right? But I said she was being guided to the same thing over and over again. She was acting unconsciously, and not choosing is a form of choice, right? So she let her choice be to the identification of her parents' relationship, right? Of her parents' old relationship. She overly identified with it, right? And because she feared it so much, she gave it so much attention, that she created it. She thought about it so much that it ended up happening for her.
Yeah. It's also maybe like the idea of familiar territory and unfamiliar territory. It's like what you know, which you're comfortable with, and then it's like the unfamiliar, which you're trying to explore still. And it's like, it's that fear is the unknown, this thing that might happen, might not happen, and so that's powerful, man. It's like being able to own your narrative, right? That's a way to describe that. It's like once you tell it like a story, your life, or when you analyze it in a way that's very, very easy to understand,
Assume you cut off, homie. Where you at? Where you at? Oh, where you at? Oh, where you at? By the way, guys, I'm revising my book. So if you purchased it before, when I make a revision and put it out with the new book cover and everything, you're going to get it at a massive discount. Only for 3 days. And if you want the ebook, you could have that for free. If you purchased it already, you can have the ebook. It's just a physical one because I need to charge because it comes with like, you have to pay for pages and shipping and stuff. So like, I'm not gonna put that burden on myself. I appreciate you holding on to your own burden. It's gonna be super freaking badass. It's gonna be califragilisticexpialidocious. Because I'm gonna make it bigger. I'm gonna put more things, right? It's gonna be the revised version. Because frankly, when I first publicized it, I was so excited that I created this. And honestly, I made it in like super fast. I made that book really, really fast. Usually it takes authors like, oh fuck. It usually takes authors like long time to get it going. But for me, I just bloop, 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 bloop. I just put it down. You know what I mean? And now I want to make it better, right? I want to add more things. I personally felt like it wasn't that good. I don't know, like I just, I guess I just thought like, oh, it's not that good, right? Because I don't consider myself to be a fucking fantastic writer, right? But I'm getting messages, people saying like, oh man, like oh, and I'm like, damn, for real, like I'm over here like almost hating on it, and that dislike was actually preventing me from making my book more successful. So this is actually something I asked myself. I asked for a message to receive, and I said, how can I sell more books so that I can create passive income for myself, so that I can take care of Pamchi and me, and we can do whatever we want. And I just sat there, and then a voice started speaking. It's my own voice, but it started speaking. And it said, it's because you don't believe that it's a good book, so you're not going out of your way to make it seen, right? You're not, even though you're doing stuff, you're really not going all the way in because you think that it's not good. And I was like, damn, you got me.
Yeah, all relation is self-relation. At the end of the day, if we don't appreciate ourselves, people aren't going to appreciate our products or our services in a way, because we represent that thing. In a sense, it's not even us, right? It's an expression of us as well, and we start to overly identify with like, oh, it's my book, right? I wrote it, I'm the author. But it's really about like understanding that this book ultimately can help a lot of people, just like how it helped me. That's the reason. I mean, I chose to write TPM because I was in a bad state in my life, and TPM was the tool that I created to help me survive, straight up. So Yeah, my laptop just died, so I'm on my phone. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we see you. We hear you. Acknowledge you. You are seen.
Ooh.
Damn, homie, I just showed you love. What you gonna do about that?
I don't know what to do with it. It's too much.
Oh man, you breaking my heart. Don't go breaking my.
Did you know, audience member listening to this podcast, that you are brilliant, that you are acknowledged, that you are loved, that you are the infinite source of all creation and a blessing to be around? So anybody who doubts you, anybody who says that you're not good enough, that is merely a reflection of them and not you. So take a big gulp of life today, slurp, and then go ahead
And leave
and
a
make it.
like at the bottom.
Yeah, and do that too, because that's lit.
And leave a comment, guys, because you have fingers and you have thoughts, and we want to hear what you have to say. If you have to say, yo, this is the fucking worst podcast I've ever seen in my fucking life, go kill yourself. I want to hear it too. I appreciate those words. I hear you. I see you. I acknowledge you.
For real.
Salam alaikum, alaikum salam.
Blessings. Amen. Hallelujah.
If you would like to contact Sumed for peak performance coaching, go to @FlowZone Academy on Instagram. That's FLOZONE Academy. If you would like to connect to your higher self, contact Ivan at odd.resilience. That's ODD.resilience. Also, make sure you follow the Better Man podcast on Instagram. See you next time.